Hello everybody, how is it going? And welcome back to another episode of Drives of the Axe-Fx 3. Today we are going to be looking at a pretty awesome pedal, the Darkglass B7K. Hey, if this is your first time here, make sure you are subscribed because I don't want you to miss any of the drives that we're going to be going over out of the Axe-Fx 3. And we're also covering a lot of the amps in the Axe-Fx 3, and I don't want you to miss any of that. So let's look at the Darkglass, talk about it, and I'll show you how I dialed in my bass tone. IR wise, I am using the ML Soundlab SV bass IRs, either the factory ones that are in the Axe-Fx. I'm using the 421 and the 57. For things around the bass setup, I'm using a compressor, studio compressor. Just put some settings like that, just so things don't get out of control with the bass. The amp, I'm just using the Faz bass, but I'm really only using it for volume because I didn't touch any of the knobs right here, drive, bass middle treble, and see none of the EQs are touched. That's all stock, so it's mainly kind of just using it as volume pretty much. I do have a PEQ running. I just have two frequencies boosted. I have basically 700 and 6000. I like to boost 700 because it makes the bass gel with the guitars a little more, and I boost 6000 because that gives you kind of that little grindy crunch and that scratch that helps the bass kind of cut through the mix. So let's read a little bit about the pedal, and I'll come back here and show you how I finished all and stuff in. So this is what the pedal looks like. Now, the pedal that is modeled in the Axe-Fx is actually the very first pedal. It's the original pedal. There's two of them. Well, two of them. There's a couple of different versions out since the original. So you have the B7K Mark II, version 2. This is what this one looks like. And you also have the Ultra. There's the B7K Ultra, and then there's the Ultra version 2. And then there is one that has EQ settings on it too. I actually forgot the name of that one. But there's a couple of different versions. I think it's this the Alpha. The Alpha has the EQ, but there's another one with the EQ on it. But that's not the one we're looking at. We're looking at this one specifically right here. And something I want to touch on before I forget about it is that when this one was specifically modeled, it was modeled with the grunt set to thin. The grunt it controls like the low end. So Yek suggests that you adjust the low cut parameter, and all of this information here is coming from Yek's drive guide. I'll put that in the description down below. And this gives you a little overview of it. It gives you some demos, which the demos are really good on here, and it kind of shows you, like, you know, drive is drive. That attack switch is, you can kind of get that around that with the tone in the tone section of the pedal in the Axe-Fx, and you have the grunt switch, which kind of, it messes with the it's a low cut. So we technically have that in here. It's just called low cut in the actual Axe-Fx itself. You can do a lot because you can mess with the frequencies. As you can see in here, if you come into the graphic kit, you can mess with the frequencies. I didn't, because I just wanted to keep things very simple. And even in advanced, you can screw with stuff down in here. So what Yek was talking about was, it was a low cut. So the default low cut is like around 5, but I just backed it right down to 3. Watch, I think the default, it's like around here or so. And like I'll play for you a little bit, and then I'll back it down to 3, about where I had it. Just adds a little bit more low end in it. And so the way I designed this was, whenever I design any of my bass tones, most of the time I'm doing it in my DAW, and I'm doing it from a DI. So when I built this, I kind of built that with the same thinking in mind, which is why I put boosted to 700 and put the mid frequency at 700. It's not like it's 636. It's, I think, is what the default one is. It's like yeah, it's at 636 default. I just put it to 700 because I wanted it to gel, which is practically almost there. Anyway, I put a little bit more treble, put a little bit more bass and low end in it, and I kind of didn't really put any more mids because I'm using my Schecter Stiletto 5 Stealth, and it has an active EQ on it, so I have the treble up on there, And another thing I wanted to mention before I forget, different basses are going to sound like common sense, but different basses are going to sound different anytime you interact with them. So if there's any interest in uploading this patch, I'll definitely upload it. And if you upload it and you try it with your bass and it sounds like really bad or really off, don't get discouraged. Just kind of mess with it a little bit to where you can get it kind of situated, because bass is such a very weird enigma. It's not like guitar at all. I'm talking about whenever you're like trying to process and get a sound with it. Guitar is kind of a little bit more straightforward, but with bass, it can get crazy. But just kind of keep that in mind. And with bass, like if you have like a certain tone that you're going for, you know, just go for it and try and get it, because a lot of the time, the bass tone that sounds good with the guitars in a mix sounds like really bad, like by itself. And the opening when I was playing, I kind of went for more of a conservative type of tone. I don't really have a whole lot of scratchiness in it. But like if you're playing like Meshuggah, or if you're playing kind of like, you know, death metal or like an extreme type of metal, I mean the bass is just almost just like pure trouble, and it's very, very, very scratchy. Okay, enough of me actually talking. Let me get to playing a little bit. So level-wise, I just left the Darkglass right at 5. You can push it a little more. You kind of have to gain stage it. So if you push it more here, you kind of have to turn the amp down a little bit there. And the level sort of kind of works like the drive, you know, interchangeably, sort of. In a way, it kind of works like that. Watch, so I'll turn the drive down from 7 to like 3, and then I'll turn this up to 7, and let's see what that sounds like. You see, that actually sounds pretty good. So they're both, you can kind of work on them interchangeably. To me, personally, sitting here listening to it through my monitors, there's not a ton of tonal difference messing with either one, but that is just me. So that's why I kept the level at 5, just to keep things simple and just kind of messed with the drive. So I find that the drive, it starts to kind of get that kind of grindy sound that you kind of want out of, like, you know, if you want some bass dirt, around 7 or so. Right around there. Please excuse me if I play like shit or if it sounds really bad. I like playing bass, but bass is not the instrument that I dedicate a lot of time to. Most of the time I'm usually playing guitar. Now I'm going to mess with the drive, and I'm going to push it up a little more, and we're going to get a little bit more grindiness out of it, and kind of show you what the drive does. So you see, you can get a lot of good grindy tone with it. I kind of like to keep it back around 7-ish or so and put the level back up. I lowered the level down because I'm trying not to blow out your ears, because you know, if I don't match the levels, it'll peak and it'll clip and it'll sound pretty freaking gross. The cool thing about this pedal too is you can use it with an amp, or you can use it like by itself. So I'm actually going to cut the amp out, and this is what it sounds like. It's just the pedal going through the cab and the compressor. It's a little bit loud. I do not want to blow out your ears. So as you can see, the amp's really not doing a lot of heavy lifting. Like I said before, I'm mainly just using it as kind of like a volume type of ordeal. I'm sure there's still a little bit of coloration in there. I can't personally tell a whole heck of a lot. Now, if you're using this in a live setting, it would probably work fairly well. You might want to put a little bit more grindiness in it. It really would just all depend on the type of band you're playing in and the type of venue that you're going to be going to. If I was going to be doing this into a recording or like doing something inside of a DAW, I probably would record just with a DI, like I said before. If you wanted to commit to a tone, you probably definitely could commit to this. Or another good thing for you to do is record everything out as a DI, and then you could actually just reamp it with your Axe-Fx, which would be really cool too, because that could lead you to a ton of different tonal possibilities. Because depending if you're mixing or somebody else is mixing it, you know, they may want to split the lows and the mids, and like I said, bass gets very complicated whenever you take it into a DAW. Like, the chains can be different, and there's so much different things that you can do. And the reason I'm spending so much time explaining this is because I'm trying to give you an idea of what I was thinking about whenever I was designing it. The Darkglass is actually really great in real life, and it's really great inside of the Axe-Fx. It's really easy to get a good tone out of it. Like I said, I literally just put it in, put up the drive, put a little bit of treble, put a little bit of low end, and I went to tone and I messed with the low cut. That was it. Like, it's very easy to get a good tone out of it. You don't necessarily need these PEQ changes. I'll let you hear what it sounds like with and without. I'm just trying to do little shortcuts that I would do in my DAW anyway whenever I'd be recording bass. Guys, that is gonna wrap things up for the Darkglass. I really like this pedal. It would be cool if we got, you know, some of the Darkglass Ultra in the Axe-Fx, but this one's fine. I don't really think that the Ultra would add a whole lot more to it anyway, to the pedal anyway. And I mean, we do have a graphic EQ, so we can kind of like go crazy with it and get all the tones that we want out of it. I hope you guys found this pretty helpful, as I know bass really isn't a thing that's covered a whole lot on the Axe-Fx. I love that we have bass amps in here, and there's no reason why I chose the fast bass amp. I just wanted to do it because I haven't really used it before. But we have like the orange bass amps, we have the Mesa bass amps, we have the SV bass amp that's in here, and I love that you can play bass with the Axe-Fx because, you know, you can record bass with it, you can, you know, record guitar. It's super flexible. Okay guys, sorry, went off on that little rant there. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this very helpful. Please subscribe, guys. I don't want you to miss any of the cool things we got going on. If you thought this bass video was rad, leave me a thumbs up. I really appreciate it a lot. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm gonna have to be out. Peace.